Hello, I'm going to do something a little bit differently today. We are going to be talking about some basics in a graphology reading. Now, graphology is the study of handwriting, and what I do is handwriting analysis. And somebody recently wanted me to talk to them more about writing prompts. So I wanted to start here because graphology is one of the things that I do. Now, I am self-taught at it, and so there are definitely people that have degrees that are more professional in it, but most of my work has been self-taught because I'm in America. I'm not going to go to debt to go to school. I'm going to research it myself. I did go to college. I do have an associate's degree in general occupational technology that basically just means I know how to work and I'm better than the high school dropout. But past that, a lot of my studies and my research have been self-taught. So today I want to talk about two different writing prompts that I use for graphology. And the first one, so this would be a reading that I would do if you just wanted something short, really basic, non-intensive, just to get a good idea. So what you'll do, and I don't have great camera work, so I am just going to write this out, is you will start with your ABCs. So if you see here, I'll do little a, big A, big B, little b, and I'll do that for the entire alphabet. Sometimes I'll also get them to write numbers 1 through 10 if that's something. Now, the next section of this is you want to write a letter to someone. So here, I'll write a letter to my best friend real quick on here. Now, the letter to this person, it is good to keep in mind the emotion that you have with it as well. So here, dear Madeline, you're the best. Love, and then your signature. So obviously this is a very short letter. I would want a lot more involved in that. But both the ABCs and the letter, so again, if this is a letter to your friend, this is a letter to your mom, this is a letter to your husband, you want to identify who it is you're writing to. I would want you to do at least a paragraph or more of, obviously if you fill up the entire page, that's great, but it's not absolutely necessary. So long as I have something to go off of. And, sometimes people will write a letter to really get things out. Sometimes people turn it into a whole thing, and which is great. The more I have, the better. Now, the second writing prompt, which is more to not only give me an insight into you, but it's going to give you an insight into you, is the big self, little self prompt. So what you'll do is with your non-dominant hand, you're going to write a letter to so basically it's inner child, adult self. So your non-dominant hand that you write with is going to be your inner child. So I'm going to write dear big self on here, but that's who you're writing to. So with your non-dominant hand, it's your bigger self, it's your adult. So dear big self, I love you. And I'm going to do XOXO and then my signature. So that's how you start with your non-dominant hand. And if you can't write with your non-dominant hand, that's fine. This is just a basic exercise. But when you do this, dear big self, I want you to imagine you as a child and you writing this as a child to your future adult self. and how you feel. Like, I really want you to go through whatever it is that you need to get through to get this out. And it's also going to give you more insight into kind of if your inner child is feeling hurt, if your inner child is feeling neglected or lost or wants to. Usually I find that inner children want to play more, they want to be outside, they want to feel more love. And then when you're done writing your big self letter with your non-dominant hand, you're going to do the same thing with your little self or inner child. So here. So then we'll do a dear little self letter. Obviously, I want this to be in response to your little self's letter. That's why we do the little self first. And if it's not legible, if your little self is not legible, that's totally fine. Completely okay. I don't expect it to be legible. The idea is a child is writing this. Now, when you respond, I do want you to try and respond to every point that your little self made, to, discuss what it is that you need to address in your regular, consistent life, because your little child's going to tell you what they need. Your inner child's going to tell you what they need. And your big self now has to say, as the adult in this situation, how am I going to respond to me? How, and this can get very deep and very impactful. And then we go through kind of not line by line, but, this is another reason why I struggle to put a lot of readings out, is because some of the information can be very sensitive and very hard to listen to. And, you don't always want that spread all over the internet or even in a group of other people. So I don't typically like to share those readings out and about in the world. But yeah, this is not only going to tell me more about you and where you are and where your emotional state is, but I will also be able to see it in your handwriting and add to, okay, you don't dot your I's, your T's are slanted, you write downward, and I'll be able to say, these are all of the things that I want you to adjust in your handwriting, so that way you can adjust better as a person. And that's what I help you with and kind of navigate through, is going back through in the minor details that you're not going to catch on your own and saying, okay, I see this. So this is how I want you to change your writing style, or this is how I want you to change your writing format. So that way we can X, Y, Z. Everybody writes a little bit differently, but I also want to note, you want a blank page. You do not want a page with any lines on it, because I want to see how much space you take up on this page. I want to see if you go across the entire width, or if you just keep it to like a narrow column. So you would have to do this on a completely blank page to start. But those are a couple of writing prompts that I use in Graphology readings specifically. But if you wanted to do the big child, little child, big self, little self activity for you, just to gauge where you are without me reading into the details for you, you can do this yourself. You can do that. And if you want to book a reading, you can contact me directly. It's about $30 for 45 minutes, and you get a ton of information. I do free readings if I'm allowed to record it and post it on the internet. And I am going to keep this at about 10 minutes because that's what I try to do for most of my videos. So I'm going to say now, peace out, fam. And I love you.